Okay, so first of all, you guys all need to know where your tool is installed. So remember, we have this folder created, 855, right? You need to go there. If you are going to the download folder here and executing it, this is a zip file. This is not where your installation is. So make sure you are on the C drive, and then you are double clicking this, and this is where the Katalon file is, execution application file is. Okay, so I'm going to double click there. This is how you can open the software. Now, if you are opening for the first time, it will prompt you for certain things. So let me just check something quick here. Since I already configured mine, it may not prompt me for certain window. Okay. So just pay attention here. Okay, and I'll let you guys work through afterwards. So depending on your computer speed and so forth, it might take some minutes. But let's see what it is, right? So you guys will see the start page, and it clearly states here how many days you have left in your trial. Since all these tools are have typically 30 days trial license. Now, what if you want to continue after 30 days? All you have to do is create another account, and then you configure it for the second account. Okay, so this you will extend your trial to the other 30 days. If you want to continue after that, you just keep on creating the account. Okay, but this trial will end after 30 days. Okay, so this is just like overview type of video, right? It has some tutorials video as well, and they have good academy. So I just want to point it out as well. So just in case if you want to learn further, because we're going to build the test here, but if I go to the academy, right, and if you log in here, so they have plenty of courses where you can have the lot of free videos. They have their own certification as well, okay, which is free. Okay, so how do you handle certain things? You can definitely, I would definitely recommend you come and watch some other videos, which will give you some different perspective, like how do you integrate Katalon with different things and so forth. Okay, so that's something to do on your at home when you are practicing at home. Okay, so this part, tutorials and academy, are very important. Okay, just it will show up on the start page. Okay. All right. So first of all, and let me come here. Let me see how this thing works. So ignore this portion here, right? Now what we have is this navigation menu item at the top. Let me just point out some important items. So first of all, I think if you are opening the first time, if your project is configured, then what you need to do is File, Open Project, because you might be seeing some different project. Okay, so when you click on File, Open Project, you will have this window here. I think most of you will see this window. Okay, and this is where you need to have an rFlown project selected. Now this project here on this window, it's an open project window. So remember, when I go to the test ops here, or when I go to my dashboard in the cloud. So component wise, it has two components. One is sitting in the cloud, and second one is you have installed on your machine. So the cloud one is called test ops. This is the desktop for test operations. Test ops means test operations. Okay, so any activity that you do it in, so this one will include feature wise, right? It shows you the execution reports. If you are executing any test, it will capture here how many test automation you ran and all those things. So whatever you have installed here on your desktop is a Katalon Studio. This is where you will write your automation scripts. You will develop it, And depending on the project, whatever you do, it will sync it back to the cloud, basically. Okay, so that's how the tool works. Okay, so first of all, let's come back here. Let me come back here. You need to have open project. Okay. And it's you have project here. It shows whatever project you created in the cloud. So we have first project, which is by default, it is created with your account when you create the account, and we are not using that. We are going to use our flow, which we created. We created a GitHub library and we tied that with the other things as well. Okay, so this is what we will do. We'll select that and you will click on fetch. Fetch project. If you don't see your project here, then you will click on fetch project. It will go in the cloud and pull up all the projects from there. Okay, make sure you select our flow. Then second part, this part will be empty if you are opening for the first time. Okay, so this part will be empty. This is where your GitHub account information should be entered. Okay, so it will be empty. So here I have, so it will look something like this. Okay, you will have this as soon as you select the project, it will have this github.upload.git. So here you will need to enter Intelix QA or whatever your GitHub account is. Okay, so let me come back here and I'm going to, for me, it is this. So I'm going to paste it. All right, make sure you click on save authentication. Okay, and then if you don't see a branch here, if you see this part empty, then you click on fetch branch. Okay, then it will go to the GitHub and it will load the branch here. Okay, and at this point, you selected the Airflow and we have provided proper credential for the Git. So I'm going to click on OK. All right, so you will be on this screen, this type of screen, right? And this is where you will see your test files. If your project is properly created or open, then you will see your test file that you created in the GitHub. Because what it does, it fetches all the source code from the GitHub and it will load it up here. Okay, and so this test file is part of the GitHub. This is coming from the GitHub. Okay, any question on this process? All right, so I'm going to pause here for sharing. I want to make sure you guys are here. You guys have configured the project and you guys are on this screen. Then we'll talk about other things. So let's just take like 5 minutes. Those who haven't done it, and I just want to check it. All right, so once it opens up, right? So let me just show you quickly what are the things here. And we'll build some basic tests. I'll let you guys work through, and then we'll come back and work through additional tests. Okay, but let's talk about what we are seeing in the project. So you will see the profile at the top, right? Right now it is it shows a default profile. So what this one is, so every project has some setting, basically. Okay, looks like I have created something earlier, which I'm going to delete. So for us, it will be empty, right? And we'll come back and talk about what this profile is a little bit later. So I'm going to close out. Okay. Now, as a tester or QA automation tester, this is very important. Test cases in object repository. Okay, these two folders are very important. There are few other things here. You have test suite. You guys can see it, right? Test suite. Okay. So the test suite is nothing but test suite, which is a group of bunch of test cases that you want to execute together. So right now this is empty folder since we haven't created anything yet, right? Then there is a data file section, right? And I'll show you how we can use the data files and so forth. So let's start with the test cases. Okay, so I'm going to use this test cases folder and we are going to create our first test case. Okay, so here there are some menu items here. okay, at the top. So if you hover over it, this is a Git library, basically. So remember, we provided the credentials, so it is hooked up with the Git. Now, what is Git? It's a source code repository. So any test case you create here, ultimately you want to sync it up with the source code. Okay, source code repository, which is sitting somewhere in the internet. So as long as if you are sharing your public access token login credential, like I'm sharing with you guys, right? Some of you have configured like that. Then if I check in my code from my machine, and if you open the same project on your machine, then you will be able to see what code that I have written. You can download all the code and you can run those test cases on your machine. So it's a central place for storing your source code, basically. Okay. So this is a in the real life you will be using on daily basis. You have to check in your code and check out, basically. So that's the standard process for any type of development activities with the Git, or depending on the tool they are using. But this tool is synchronized with the Git. It's built in with the Git library. Okay, Git repository. Okay, let me move on from here to the right side here. This is a spyweb. This green type of icon, right? It's a spyweb. I'll show you at the end. Okay, how we can use the spyweb. Okay, it's a very nice feature, handy feature. We definitely will need to use it. This red icon, right? This red icon, this is where you record. Remember, automation tools, most of the tools works as you record what you are doing manually, and then you are executing those tests over and over again, right? So this one will trigger the recording of the script. Okay, so which we will build our test case using the record pretty soon. Now other buttons, I'll just quickly go over. This is a Spy Mobile. So if you are working on a mobile project, right, or mobile browser type of thing, then you can use Spy Mobile. It is for mobile UI testing. We are working with the web testing, right? So this is what we will use. But this is Spy Mobile, similar to the Spy Web, and this is Record Mobile. So you can record the test for the mobile. Same thing, this is for Windows. If you are testing any Windows-based app, you can use Spy Windows and Record Windows. Excellent. Okay, so you can play around this thing. In this class, we will focus on Record Web. Okay, so this is what we will do. Other stuff, as we go through, we will see, but this is where you will spend most of your time on this type of activity. Okay, so let's talk about one simple test case here. Okay, so in order to write the automation test, what do we need? We need the manual test case. Okay, that's written down. Okay, manual test case. Okay, without that, you cannot do anything. If you are strictly coming to if you don't know how to write your test case, then there is no automation for it. You have to master this skill here. Okay, so let's talk about super user login. We'll start with simple one. Okay, so super user login test case. And what are our steps here? What are our manual steps? If I have to validate that super user can log in successfully, what do I need to do? Open browser, right? Simple thing. Then what? Second step would be? Type in URL, right? Without URL, you open the browser, it will not do anything, right? But again, here, you need to have expected and rflown or browser is open, right? Browser is open, right? Type in rflown URL, rflown homepage display. Okay. Then what else would be? Enter username. Okay, enter password. And then log in. Right. So similarly, a credential is entered. Or username is entered, right? Password is entered, let's say. And here, login would what activity? Airflow homepage, for super user homepage. Homepage is displayed. This is important, right? Anything else we need for this test case? Right? So ultimately, if you are executing manually, you will verify that super user homepage is displayed. Now, let me ask you, how would you manually verify that super user homepage is displayed? If you are a manual tester, what would you see? Because you need to identify something, right? I know, but that's just one bit. But what would you do if you are a tester? How can you tell it's a super user homepage versus lender homepage or dealer homepage?
He should have access to all the valid users information in this page. Whatever he's supposed to see in this page.
So you manually verify all those things, right? That is unique about super user. And what is unique about super user?
He can use
They manage all the users, he can create,
I know, but that's a functionality wise, right? But what would you do if you are executing this manually? If I tell you, hey, go execute this test case, how can I verify that its homepage is displayed? But name, if I'm logged in as a different user, then my name will be different.
Site admin. Let's say it's a site admin page.
Okay,
Site admin button should be displayed, like
what button? You need to be very specific now because we are dealing with tools, right? So you need to be 100% sure what you are going to verify here.
admin page, there is a button.
What button?
It says site administration.
That's not
Site
Does it say site administrator homepage? What does it say? Okay, let me go in. So as training, because tool, you have to give exact instruction to the tool. Otherwise, you will not be able to run your test. You cannot automate your test.
So this case will be there in the design document, right? What we are supposed to expect.
Remember, you already went through manual testing, you already verified your execution, so you know, you need to
Now we
know.
Like now we
Right.
know, but actually I'm talking the real world.
Mhm.
Like I may not know what will be displayed like when I run. the
Now,
test
when you
case.
say site admin homepage display, right, that's what you are writing.
Uh-huh.
When you are manually visually verifying, then you need to still identify uniquely. You might have to go back and revise your test case for expected result. What exactly you might have conversation with the developer, how they have designed the page, and then you put the specific thing.
So
In your steps.
when we do a first time, we have to copy the test design from the design.
Yes, you need to have, so you are constantly working with the developers, business analysts, it's not like you are working in silos. Okay, so you need to understand what they are implementing. And here you need to know what exactly is unique about site admin. So what is unique about? Now I have opened the page. What is that we want to verify?
Admin homepage button.
Admin homepage button. Does everybody agree?
No.
Okay. Why not? What's
He had all users management in this.
so if I log in as a AppRep user, will I see the user management?
No.
Will I see dealer management? So only site admin can see?
Yes.
Okay, so if I log in as a AppRep user, can I see admin homepage?
No.
So you can pick one of this thing, right? What is unique about site admin? You don't have to verify everything, but as long as something is unique, you can tell, yep, it's a site admin homepage. I mean, you can verify the reports, both buttons, which is fine. Then your steps should include verify that admin homepage is displayed, the homepage link is displayed, and verify the report is displayed. Right, both activities you can verify at the same time, which is perfectly fine. So we'll go with admin homepage because it is unique to the site admin as long as it's there. So verify that admin homepage button or link, whatever it is, right, is displayed. Okay, so this is the specific instruction we have to provide it to the software or automation tool. Okay, so this is my manual test case and it's working. I know it's working because I logged in earlier, did the manual testing and it's working. So now I'm ready to automate as part of my regression test. Okay, so that's where, let's see how we can automate this test case using the tool. Okay, so I'm here. Now I need to write my first test case. So what I'm here is I'm on this folder, right? I'm going to right click on it and say new test case. Okay, you need to get familiar with how you can create new test cases and so forth. So I'm selecting the folder, new test case. Now it has two options here, folder and test case. I mean, good thing is a folder is there also there. So I can organize my test cases. So let me go and create a folder here. Select the folder. So I'm going to put a folder and I'm going to name it as login test cases. So any super user, basically dealer user test cases, I can organize under this folder. Okay. So now I'm selecting the login test cases folder and right clicking and saying a new test case. Okay. All right. So here I will say super user login, basically. Okay, and clicking OK. Just pay attention here, otherwise you guys will struggle. Okay, at the little bit later. So I'll give you plenty of times to work through. Okay, super user login. Okay, so now my test case is created. You can see it. It's a different notations here. This is a folder. This is your actual test case. Okay. Now it will open a window on the right side, which is empty. There is nothing there. Okay. So this is where your scripting or anything that you will do will come into play. So let's see how it works. Okay. So what I'm going to do is now I have this window open. I'm going to click on this record web. Okay. And it might ask you to update something. If you're opening the first time, just go and update the Chrome driver. Okay. But let's see what this window is. It's a web recorder window. Now you will most likely you will see a demo or some different site URL. We are testing rflown, so we need to input rflown URL here. rflown.azurewebsites.net. Okay, I'm just simply following the steps I have. Open browser and rflown, type in the URL. So these two steps, it will be part of this here. Okay, so I typed in the URL and I'm going to click on record. Now let me show you what it is here. So you can expand this record. Now you can record for different browsers, in different browsers. If you have different like Edge, Firefox, Chrome, you can record it, or IE, Firefox and other things. It says Chrome is recommended. I guess that this tool works well with the Chrome. So they are saying you can record it with the Chrome. But when you are replaying, when you are executing, you can execute on different browsers. Okay, so your script should work regardless. Okay, so this is the first step. Let me expand this one. It says just some actions, nothing is here because we haven't done anything other than typing the URL. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to kick off my recording by clicking on this button, record. Okay, so it automatically captured open browser and navigate to URL. Those two steps are automatically captured here. All right, so let me go and minimize this window. or put it on the side, this window here. Now I have to follow my instructions, what I have it in the manual step. So enter username, enter password. So if you have your test data as S training and training, right? Training, you can have it in the step. You can follow the same thing. You will follow S training. Now you'll keep an eye on this window as well, right? And training. So it's capturing both of my steps individually. Okay. So at this point, I'm good. I'm ready to log in. So as soon as I click here, it will be populated here. Okay. It says click login. All right. And am I done? Okay. So we need to tell. So based on here, so once I log in, I have a super user homepage is displayed. What specific things I'm verifying? Verify that admin homepage is displayed, right? So how do I tell the tool to verify something? So that's the important part. You don't want to miss that, right? So you come, whatever you want to verify, you come here, right? It's highlighted. Then you right click on it and say Katalon Studio. You go to the Katalon Studio, and then there are a bunch of things available for verification. So let's take a look at it. First one is a verify element present, verify element not present, verify element visible, not visible, clickable, not clickable. So if I select the first option, so it will look for the text on the page which says admin homepage. So you guys know what, so we talked about HTML, right? Do you guys remember what are the properties or attributes of an HTML element?
Visible.
So visible, what does the visible mean? Is the element.
Appearing on the web page.
So at every element has certain properties. I don't know, any of you went back and you did the W3 schools or looked at checkbox, input box, text box, whatever. But every HTML element has a visible property. It has enabled or disabled property and so forth. And it has a text property as well. Okay, so that's what these properties are. So it's going to look for text for certain elements and verify, hey, does this element contains admin homepage text or not? That's how it distinguishes. Okay. So play around when you get a chance. Clickable and not clickable. Most of the elements are clear. You can click on it, right? Text box, checkbox, buttons, and so forth. So if the visible is true in the HTML element, then you can use this property to verify. Okay. So here we will keep it simple. We'll go with verify element text is present. Okay, so I'm just going to select that. Okay, so it added few things here, right? Okay, so at this point, am I done with my script? Because I added the verification step, right? And at this point, I'm done with my recording. So I'm going to close out browser window. Okay, and now my script is complete. Now, again, we are not done yet from this window. You need to click on save script. Then only it will become part of your test case. Okay, so let me go ahead and save script. Okay, so let's see what it popped up again. So here it popped up another window, this window. Okay, so what this window is, add element to object repository. So let me click again, right? Add element to object repository. So let's see what it did. So it has a page homepage. We interacted with the 3 elements on the homepage. This username, password, and login. So it captured those 3 elements and capture certain properties, which I'll show you what it looks like. And then on the page, once I logged in, then it has a admin homepage element. So it captured that. And what it will do is it will add all these elements that we interacted, it will store in the repository. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to click OK, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so if you looked at it, though it created few folders here automatically. Okay, on the left side. Okay, so let's see what it did here, what these things are. So I'm going to expand this a little bit so that we can see it all the way. All right, so it's a codeless automation tool. Remember that, right? So there is no code here. It's only the keywords. This is called the manual view or keyword view, right? Whatever view you are saying is a keyword view. It has certain commands here. Okay, and then all the actions are captured, or your test data is in the input, right? Input column. So open browser, I'm not inputting anything, right? It's just open browser. Navigate to URL, your test data is on the input. You are setting the text to this particular field. Okay, this is a username. Now, what is this? Do you guys know where it comes from? Okay, I'll show you here. Okay, give me a second. So let's finish this. Okay, so it has a data called straining. So we are entering straining. This is set encrypted text, and it has a data of whatever the numbers, whatever the encrypted password is. Okay, this is a click. Okay, so I have my steps correct, and I'm clicking on the login object. Finally, I have verify element text, and I have admin homepage. Does my steps look clear? Does it match with what I have here steps wise?
It doesn't show password training the word.
Yes, yes. So here, the reason it doesn't show is by default, the tool captures it in encrypted mode, because script can be used by a number of people and you don't want to share the password. That's the reason tool will capture it. But that doesn't mean you cannot change it. Okay, so let me talk about one thing here. So what if I want to show the password? So here, what I can do is I select this field, double click, right? Once I click on it, I can change it now. It becomes a drop down. So if I do set text instead of set encrypted text, then I can change it. So the way you can do it is click on the drop down, and you will see a bunch of commands here, right? All the commands that you're gonna see here will be here in the drop down. So let's say you want to use set text instead of set encrypted text. So set encrypted is here, set text. You just simply select that, and you come here and change your input. Okay, so in order to change it, you have to double click it, and then you come to the value, because this value you want to change, and I will double click it again and change it to training. Okay, so it will pop up. So you need to get familiar with the tool, how you can change certain things. So now my password is plain text and so forth. Any question on this here? And there's a lot more here. I'll capture it. I'll show you in the little bit later what you can do, and if you miss the step, if you want to add the step, how you can tweak your script. But essentially, I'm doing exactly whatever is specified in the script. Okay, so that's what the record part. Now let's say while you are recording, you click on something else. Let's say you have extra click here. Or let me wipe out here. Actually, before I wipe out, let me show you what these elements are. Okay, and where they are stored. So come here, right? On the left side, object repository. So these are objects or these are elements. They are stored under object repository. So anything that we interacted, it captures individual element information in the object repository. Okay, so it created a couple of folders. So let's open this username. This is the username object. I'm going to open the username. Let's see what is stored. So, do you guys know what where this thing comes from, or what is this one? CTL00. I'm not sure you can see it, so I'm going to put this on the text screen. Okay, what this CTL00 is, what this
The username box, input box.
no, but what is this? Where is this coming from?
It's the
Is that what is-
username on the input box web page.
Code. It's not the code, so I'm on the page.
Yeah, it's a input username. That's the username box.
Okay, but what these specific things are? CTL00 username and those things. The way you can find out is you go to the username, you right click on it, say inspect. Remember, there is a inspect, right? So you right click on it, say inspect, and it will take you to this input box, HTML. So now that's the important part, because you need to understand the HTML, what those things are. So it's an input box. It has a name, CTL 100 main content TXT username. Does it match with that? No, it doesn't match with that, right? This part. But it doesn't match with the username, but every element most likely will have an ID. So if you look at ID property, then it has a value of CTL 100 main text username. This is how the tool knows. It captures the property, reads the property, and stores it in the repository. Okay, and when you run next time, it needs to find that control on the page. Since ID is unique, for every element on the page, it knows, okay, I need to go find this control based on the ID that I have stored in the repository, and then it will start interaction with it. So if you are inputting some data, it will go and input the data when you run it. Okay, so this is how the tool finds the controls, by storing them into repository. Okay, that's the important part of the object repository. So when you get a chance, when you create your test, make sure you understand what these things are and find it. Now, again, these are selectors or selected locators, which are nothing but some uses some XML based code. Okay, to find those elements on the page. So there are other elements it captured, other properties like href. You have link property and so forth, like login button name and so forth. Okay, but this is the important property. Based on the ID, it will find the control on the page. Okay, now everything here, right, under object repository, again, you can organize it or change it. So let me go ahead and change the folder name, and I'm going to rename it and call it. Okay, so I'm going to, it's asking me to save it. Let me close out a few windows. Okay, so I'm just closing out. So now I'm over here. Now what I'm doing is I'm renaming the page homepage folder to homepage, basically, so that I know all the homepage interaction controls on the homepage are under homepage folder. The page control is part of the admin homepage, right? So I'm just going to rename it to the admin homepage. It's just a folder name. Okay, nothing to do with your script. It's just for organization purpose. I'm just making sure They are stored here, right? Okay, so login test cases, right? I have super user login. So basically, so at this point, I'm done with my test case. Make sure everything is saved. Right? You can click on this button, save. It will save your script. Okay. Is everybody good so far? So we haven't executed yet. We just captured the clean script. Now, if you want to open it again, you double click on it, test case, and it will open again. Okay, so when you are ready to run it, this is where you will come. So your capture part is on the left side. On the right side, you will see this green button called run. And when you are ready to execute, just simply click on it, this thing. And it will show you pop up some window showing the status of the test case. And if everything is configured properly, then it will open the browser. And then it will simulate what you captured and give you the result right there. And I'm expecting green. Green means passed. And otherwise it will be failed. So if I have some bad username, instead of training, I have training 1. And I'm rerunning it. I'm expecting to be failed. Okay, so let me just show you quickly what it looks like when it fails. Okay, so it's giving you different result here. Okay, and at this point, if I come here, it's still running. So we'll just keep an eye on it. After probably 30 seconds, it will basically fail here at this point and show you the error message.
So all this while are we recording the web?
No, this is execution part, right? This is the, once you are done with the recording, your script is clean. Then whenever you have the software, you can, or updated software, you will come here and execute basically, and you will see the result because you are expecting it to pass based on what you captured, right? If you are executing 50 times, doesn't matter, every time it needs to pass. Otherwise, you need to open a defect and saying why it failed, basically. So developers will go and troubleshoot why it started failing. Okay, so it says failed here. And if I open the windows at the bottom here, and it will show here, it says element admin now not found. Because the log, it was stuck on the login page, it never saw this element. So you can read the error. Some errors are some programming errors here, but generally at the top here, you will see the error, root cause. What is the root cause of the error? So you can copy this, put it in the defect when you open a defect, and then let the developer figure out why you threw an error. Okay.
So can we open up a defect in Katalon Studio or?
No, you have to go to the Azure DevOps because you are doing manually. Now, if the tool is integrated, basically, generally on the servers, it integrates, desktop integrates with Jira. So as soon as you sync the results, it will execute some code. And if you are integrated with Jira, with the desktops, which is in the cloud, then it can create a defect for you. Okay. But here you have to do manually because we are just testing locally. Okay. All right. So is everybody good so far? Okay. So before I move on, I think I covered this quite a few things. So let me see if you guys can at least record the same test case. Okay. Go through the same test case, make sure your script is working properly, right? And you are able to record it and execute it, this same test case. You may not have to rename the folders, but I would strongly recommend you rename the folders. Essentially, what we are doing is every page will have its own folder under repository so that we can organize it properly. It's called following the page objects pattern. So every page will have its own, all the controls will be stored under one folder. So that if you have to modify it in the future, we can easily modify those pages, basically those elements. Okay, which I'll show you a little bit later. Okay. So let's go ahead and create the same test case, login test case, or whatever, super user login, and work through the process. Okay, I'll give you guys probably maybe 20 to 20 minutes to work through this. Okay, and we'll come back and learn additional things.
So the object will be created on its own, or like for me, it's showing value, like what I have to do. When I do when I did the
Input here.
yeah, like when started a new test case
Okay. Yeah, where is showing now? What step?
in the object area,
Here?
yeah,
Which step? That's what I'm asking.
when I say, everywhere it's showing only null, only for all.
That means nothing is captured here.
No, even if I gave say JavaScript, right, that's what I have.
All right, well, let me see. I think it's some security issue on your machine
Okay,
because it's not capturing the step. So we have to see. But that's the reason I want you guys to execute one test and see what you guys can do, right? So let me stop recording here and we'll come back. Okay, and I'll be there. Okay, let me come there and we'll see.
Marshall, can you just give rundown of just the main steps?
So main step is you need to create a test case, right? You have to right click on it. Test case. If you want to create a folder, that's fine. If you don't, that's okay. But create a test case. Once you create a test case, this part will be empty. So you need to first record it.
Okay.
You need to follow your steps, right? Input URL, and once you complete your step, once you record up to there, you need to have verification. For verification, you're gonna go to the control and right click on it. Okay, and then you will have to save the script, and that's all it is. If you want to rename the folder, which is fine, just like what I did. If you're not sure, then we will take a look at it. Okay,
Thank you.
but as long as this script is there and you are able to execute it, you are good. Yes.
So